Chapter 4461. This is the Archean divinity world's soaring cloud planet. The old man's expression was solemn. Yes, this is the place. We come from the Void God race, a level 9 civilization. Oh, you should have heard of us before. However, you've only heard about the AO clan. They found this world and spent many years trying to conquer it, but they still couldn't conquer it. In fact, they were almost wiped out and their clan was almost wiped out. They couldn't recover from this setback. Thus, they invited the Ku family to come forward, the Void God race expert said slowly. From today onwards, the Ku family will take over the Archean divinity world. You can either submit or die. Now choose. Everyone fell silent. Ningqi calmly watched this scene and secretly evaluated the Void God race expert's strength. The other party was very strong. At the very least, he wasn't someone that ordinary primordial gods could compare to. The master of auspicious cloud planet, the old man, had a much weaker aura. Not to mention that there were so many ferocious-looking monsters with powerful auras behind them. The Archean divinity world will never submit to the Void God race. The Grim Reaper will immediately sense what's happening here. If you don't retreat, only death awaits you. The old man raised his head. With him taking the lead, the others instantly gained courage. They looked at the Void God race expert with determination. They might be able to admit defeat against other primordial gods. However, most of them were unwilling to surrender to a foreign race that did not belong to the Archean divinity realm and only wanted to enslave or kill them. Okay, then you choose death. The Void God race expert nodded. In an instant, millions of Void God beasts charged toward auspicious cloud planet. Countless cultivators faced them head-on and used their techniques to fight against these Void God beasts. You guys go deal with those Void God beasts. Leave this Void God race expert to me. The old man ordered the sacred lords beside him. Yes. The sacred lords received the order and immediately headed toward the Void God beasts with powerful auras. The battle had only started a few seconds ago. Auspicious Cloud Planet had already been destroyed beyond recognition. Ningqi moved freely through the battlefield. When he passed by a Void God beast, he would immediately kill it. However, his attention was still focused on the Void God race expert. The old man took the initiative to greet the Void God race. However, that Void God race being didn't seem to place him in his eyes at all. He placed one hand behind his back and used the other to fight with the old man. During the battle, he seemed to be able to do as he pleased. In fact, his attention was focused on the battlefield and not on the old man. Damn it! This person is at least a third-rank primordial god. The more the old man fought, the more shocked he became. He was only a rank 1 primordial god, so he had no chance of winning against an expert 2 levels higher than him. He could also see that the other party was deliberately restraining him and not killing him. Perhaps they had other motives. Perhaps they were waiting for all the cultivators on Magic Cloud Planet to be slaughtered before they dealt with him. I can't let this go on. I need to buy more time for the Grim Reaper to receive the news. The old man thought to himself. Ningqi calmly closed in on the Void God race expert. The Foe God race did not care too much about Ningqi, who only gave off the aura of a sacred lord. Instead, many Foe God beasts surrounded Ningqi, planning to skin him alive. Ningqi did not reveal his strength to kill these Foe God beasts directly. Instead, he fought them head-on, even cutting a sorry figure. The dragon-slaying saber should be able to be used again after this period of recovery. With my strength, even a sneak attack would be difficult to kill this Foe God race being. Only by using it will I be able to kill him in one fell swoop. While thinking, Ningqi mobilized his divine sense to check the Dragon Slayer Saber's condition. After a period of recuperation, the Dragon Slayer Saber was currently floating in Ningqi's sea of consciousness, not moving at all. Although its aura had not recovered to its peak state, it was still enough to kill this Void God race member. You are no match for me. The Void God race cultivator suddenly shook his head at the old man as if he was getting impatient. He suddenly reached out and grabbed the old man. The old man's eyes flashed with despair. When the surrounding cultivators saw this, their hearts immediately became heavy. Their strongest expert had already been captured alive. This battle was destined to end with the destruction of Magic Cloud Planet. Just as everyone fell into despair, a strand of saber light swept past the Void God race being. The Void God clan's member was slightly startled, and he slowly turned around to look behind him. Unfortunately, before he could see the person who had attacked, his figure had turned into dust and scattered into the void. With the death of this faux god race being, the nearby faux god beasts immediately lost their order. Their attacks also became chaotic. The old man stared blankly at Ningqi, and a hint of surprise and delight appeared in his eyes. "Sir, you mean to deal with these monsters first?" Ningqi said lightly. The old man reacted and quickly nodded. With Xiao Chen and Ningqi interfering, these faux god beasts were no longer a concern. After paying a considerable price, they were finally cleaned up. In the clouds, in the air, and on the ground there was blood everywhere. There was the blood of faux god beasts and the blood of cultivators. It was no longer possible to tell them apart. The dense smell of blood even caused some experienced cultivators to be unable to refrain from retching, and they frowned as they shut off their sense of smell. Chapter 4462. Seeing that the battle was over, the old man flew over to Ningqi, cupped his fists, and said, "I'm Luo Yuping from Soaring Cloud Planet. Thank you for your help just now. May I know your name?" "Ning Beixian." Ningqi smiled faintly. The old man ran through the name in his mind. He was sure that he had never heard of this name before, but it was not surprising. The primordial divinity realm was too big, and there were many primordial gods who had never heard of them. Although he could still sense that Ningqi's aura wasn't at the primordial god realm, he thought it was just a way for Ningqi to conceal his aura. I never thought that the Void God clan would make a comeback and attack the Archean divinity world. It looks like the Archean divinity world won't be peaceful for some time. Luo Yuping sighed softly. "Brother Luo, just what is the origin of this Void God clan?" Ningqi asked. He had once heard that the Grim Reaper was resisting the Void God race's invasion of the Archean divinity world. Today, he had seen the Void God race with his own eyes. However, if the Void God clan appeared in the hinterlands of the Archean divinity, did that mean that the Grim Reaper had already fallen? "Hey, Brother Ning, don't you know about the Void God clan?" Luo Yuping was a little surprised. "I've always been cultivating diligently, so I don't know much about the outside world." Ningqi smiled faintly. "So that's how it is. If Brother Ning doesn't have anything else to say, then please come to this humble one's residence. This humble one can talk to Brother Ning about this Void God clan." Luo Yuping invited. Ningqi pondered for a few breaths before nodding slightly. "Hurry up and send a message to Jade Clear Manor. Tell them that the Void God clan has been discovered here." Luo Yuping ordered his men and brought Ningqi to his mansion. After the battle, his residence was the first to bear the brunt of the impact and was reduced to ruins. However, this was something that primordial gods could easily resolve. With a wave of his hand, the mansion returned to its original state. "Brother Ning, please." Luo Yuping stretched out her hand. "Excuse me." Ningqi nodded with a smile and walked into the mansion first. In the hall, Luo Yuping ordered her subordinates to bring over many pastries and tea. Then, she told Ningqi about the Void God race. Speaking of the Void God race, they call themselves a level 9 civilization. In their eyes, the Archean divinity is only a level 7 civilization. According to their classification, there are at least 2 types of powerhouses that are stronger than the primordial gods. Luo Yuping slowly said, "Those 2 kinds of experts have never appeared until now. The only one that has appeared is an existence that can contend against the Grim Reaper, but he was also defeated by the Grim Reaper. At this point, Luo Yuping's eyes became serious. When he thought of what the Void God clan member had said earlier, he became worried. It was clear that another faction of the Void God race had taken over the mission of attacking the Archean God world. This Void God tribe was definitely stronger than the Ao clan. As for how much stronger, it was impossible to know in a short period of time. Brother Ning, you don't know this, but our battle with the Void God clan has been at a stalemate for countless years. Since I was born, I would hear the 3 words Void God clan from time to time. Sometimes they might not move for thousands or even tens of thousands of years. Sometimes they would fight with us for thousands of years without stopping. As Luo Yuping spoke, he shook his head and sighed. I don't know when this will end. When did the Void God clan first start invading the Archean God world? Ningqi asked. The first place they discovered was not the Archean God world, but the Earth Immortal world where the Grim Reaper was. I heard that before the Grim Reaper rose, the Void God clan had tried to invade the Earth Immortal world several times, but they were repelled. At that time, the Void God clan in charge of invading the Earth Immortal world was not the Ao clan, but a clan even weaker than the Ao clan. Luo Yuping said. Before the Grim Reaper rose? That's a really long time, Ningqi said with a strange expression. In the eyes of the Void God clan, the Archean God world was only a level 7 civilization, but the Void God clan claimed to be a level 9 civilization. This was clearly not an exaggeration. It was very likely that there was a reason for this classification. In the Void God clan, there were probably experts that far surpassed the primordial gods. Fortunately, those experts did not seem to care about the Archean God world. They did not even know about the existence of the Archean God world. After chatting for a while, Ningqi obtained a lot of information about the Void God clan and got up to leave. Brother Ning, don't you want to stay for a while? Luo Yuping asked. He was afraid that the Void God clan would make a comeback. If there was an expert like Ningqi on Soaring Cloud Planet, it would naturally be much better. No need. Ningqi smiled. I still have some things to deal with. I'll take my leave first. Then I'll see you off, Brother Ning. Luo Yuping nodded. In the void, Luo Yuping watched Ningqi's gradually disappearing figure and sighed softly. This was the limit of his talent in this life. It was very difficult for him to achieve anything else. After watching Ningqi leave, Luo Yuping was about to return to his residence when he suddenly saw a group of battleships speeding over. The Ling family's battleships? Luo Yuping was a little surprised. Why would the Ling family come to his place? He had heard some stories about the Ling family, but when he thought about his talent, he definitely would not become a target of the Ling family in advance. He calmed down a little and quietly waited for the other party to arrive. Chapter 4463. Not long after, the battleships landed on Soaring Cloud Planet. Luo Yuping waited calmly. Soon, a young master with skin as white as jade walked out from the first battleship. Behind him, there were many primordial gods that even Luo Yuping couldn't compare to. An important figure of the Ling clan. Luo Yuping was slightly shocked. This wasn't something that a random primordial god of the Ling clan could put up. His expression became even more respectful. Before the other party arrived, he had already bowed. You're Luo Yuping of planet Soaring Cloud? Third Prince Ling came before Luo Yuping and asked. That's me. May I know who you are? Luo Yuping quickly answered. This is the third prince of our Ling clan. And primordial god said. Third Prince Ling. Luo Yuping was shocked. He had heard of this person before. Among the younger generation of the Ling clan, the first prince and second prince were far inferior to this third prince. His mother was from the Su clan, the Su clan that the Grim Reaper presided over. Because of this, in the Ling clan, third Prince Ling's status was the most special. In addition to his outstanding talent, he was doted on by the old ancestor of the Ling clan. His status and power in the Lung clan far surpassed any of his siblings. Luo Yuping greets third Prince Lung. Luo Yuping quickly said, "There's no need to be so polite. What just happened here?" Third Prince Lung glanced around. Although the corpses of the void god beasts had been cleared, there was still a strong stench of blood. Luo Yuping quickly told him about the void god tribe's arrival. Third Prince Ling's eyes flickered with shock. The primordial gods behind him were in disbelief. Nonsense. The void god tribe couldn't break in and was suppressed by that person. How could they come to planet Soaring Cloud? A primordial venerable god shouted coldly. Cold sweat appeared on Luo Yuping's forehead. He quickly explained and got his subordinates to bring out some void god beasts that hadn't been cleared. Third Prince Ling, we must report this to the old ancestor immediately. Elder Yu calculated with his fingers, his expression becoming more and more solemn. Void god race's side has indeed undergone a huge change, that's why the chi of heaven and earth is in a mess. It should just be some fish that slipped through the net. There's nothing to worry about. Just send someone back to inform them. Our business is more important. Third young Master Ling smiled faintly. Elder Yu nodded slightly and immediately ordered a primordial god to report back. After that, Third Prince Ling smiled at Luo Yu. You just said that a primordial god killed a void god clan expert with a single slash. Is his blade like this? With a light wave of his hand, the divine power formed the shape of a dragon salure in the air. Luo Yuping nodded happily. That's right. Third young master, you know brother Beixian too? Beixian? Is that his name? Third childling smiled. Tell me, which direction did he go? Luo Yuping was startled for a moment before she pointed in a direction. Third young Master Ling looked at Elder Yu. Elder Yu counted with his fingers again, nodding slightly. He didn't lie. Lie? Luo Yuping gradually felt that something was amiss. Third childling did not say much and returned to the battleship with the rest, chasing after Ning Qi. Luo Yuping stood in the air and remained silent for a full 10 breaths before her heart skipped a beat. Her face gradually revealed a look of disbelief. According to the Lung clan's character, they're chasing after brother Beixian. Could it be that they want to get rid of him? Just as this thought appeared, Luo Yuping sucked in a breath of cold air. Those who were eliminated by the Lung clan in the Archean god world were all dragons and phoenixes among men. This time, third childling had personally appeared. This meant that brother Beixian, who had been a guest in his residence, would at least be a huge threat to the Lung clan in the future. Even a 9th-level primordial god would not be able to threaten or shake the Lung clan. After all, the Lung clan's ancestor had long stepped into the Six Paths realm. That was above the primordial god realm. Even he did not dare to covet it, nor could he understand too many realms. In the entire Archean god world, there were only a few Six Paths realm experts. Every single one of them was famous and he could count them all. Brother Beixian might step into the Six Paths realm in the future? Luo Yuping was excited and nervous at the same time. If Ning Qi could really step into the Six Paths realm, it would mean that he had befriended an overlord of the Six Paths, and it would be a friendship that fought side by side. He was nervous because of the Lung clan's formation. If they really caught up to him, even if he had the potential to step into the Six Paths realm in the future, he would be completely suppressed. The star map should be pointing in this direction. In the void, Ning Qi kept changing his route according to the direction indicated on the star map. Because of this, he had passed by the Ling family's battleships many times, and neither side had noticed the other's presence. After all, the void was so vast that even the dominator of the Six Paths was only a speck of dust in it. This is the strongest planet in the Mountain Sea domain with a 7th-level primordial god, Tianxi planet. After spending an unknown amount of time, Ning Qi finally arrived outside a huge planet. Chapter 4464. This blue planet was the Tianxi planet, the coordinates of the strongest planet in his star map. Unlike the other planets he had passed by before, Tianxi planet was unguarded, and it seemed that one could enter and leave freely. The star map had a detailed introduction of the heavenly plan's star, such as the sex, clans, races, and the strength of these forces. All of them were introduced one by one. There was a human sect called the Huangji sect, the strongest sect on Tianxi planet. The rank 7 primordial god was the patriarch of the Huangji sect. The Huangji sect was also one of Ning Qi's goals. Stepping into the primordial god realm was not easy. Relying on one's own exploration was not only difficult, but it also took a lot of time. Therefore, entering the Huangji sect was a shortcut. After entering Tianxi planet, Ning Qi asked some cultivators and quickly found the location of the Huangji sect. When he arrived at the majestic mountain gate of the Huangji sect, countless cultivators went in and out. Cultivators like the sacred lords could be seen everywhere. There were also many human cultivators with the aura of primordial god. It could be said that the Huangji sect was the first large-scale force Ning Qi had seen since coming to the Archean divinity world. Even if it could not be ranked at the top, it could at least be considered second-rate. Apart from the Ling family and the Su family, the other forces he had seen before were probably second-rate. Today, the peak master of the Extreme Emperor sect's dark subterranean peak is accepting disciples. This is a rank 5 archaic god, and he's an elder in the Extreme Emperor sect. It's been several thousand years since we've accepted a new disciple, so all of you better be on high alert. Don't embarrass our Huang family. Yes, Patriarch. A group of cultivators walked past Ning Qi. The old man in the lead was warning the young people beside him. Their conversation attracted Ning Qi's attention. The old man's cultivation level was the same as Ning Qi's. They were both sacred lords, but he was far weaker than Ning Qi. Some of the young people he brought were only at the 7th step, while others were at the 6th step. However, he did not see anyone at the 5th step. Perhaps it was because there was a clear divide between those below and above the 5th step. In Ming Peak Master? Ning Qi did not expect to be sent a pillow just as he was about to sleep. In his eyes, there was no difference between a rank 5 and 7 primordial god. His goal was to find a way to become a primordial god. After a few moments of silence, Ning Qi followed the old man's group and entered the extreme Huang sect. Then, he followed them to the foot of a mountain range. In addition to the old man's group, there were many cultivators who were heading to the same place as them. These cultivators also stood still at the foot of the mountain. Ning Qi estimated that there were about 300 to 500 people. The weakest among them was at the 6th step, while the strongest had reached the primordial god realm. However, it seemed like they were not here to be his disciple, but to bring their juniors here to be his disciple. Did you come alone? Didn't you bring any of your family's younger generation to come and learn from him? A sacred lord happened to be standing not far away from Ning Qi, and he couldn't help but ask after sizing up Ning Qi. This sacred master was followed by a group of juniors. It's me. Ning Qi smiled faintly. You are already a holy lord, so how could you take me as your master? The lowest requirement for the extreme monarch sect to choose disciples was to be a great sage. Your cultivation level has already surpassed that. The sacred lord said with a strange expression, even if you are accepted, you can only be an outer sect disciple. You won't be able to receive too many resources and teachings, and you won't be able to obtain the true techniques of the extreme monarch sect. You will also lose your freedom and be restricted by all kinds of rules. On Tianxi planet, everyone knew that the extreme monarch sect's requirements for disciples were very strict. If it was a sacred lord, he would basically use the excuse of being an outer sect disciple to reject him. Even if there was a sacred lord who still wanted to be his disciple, he would feel bored after a while and choose to leave. Only those below the sacred lord level would have the opportunity to be accepted into the sect and become an inner sect disciple, where they would be carefully nurtured. That doesn't matter. Ningqi smiled faintly. The other party shook his head slightly, not understanding. A dignified sacred lord was actually considered a figure in the primordial divinity world. As long as he didn't encounter the primordial gods, he could go anywhere freely. Why did he have to come to the extreme monarch sect to be an outer sect disciple and live under someone else's roof? Sometimes, he even had to listen to the orders of inner sect disciples who were only great sages or even sages. Just as the other party was about to say a few more words, a figure walked down from the mountain. The person was quite far away from the crowd, but in just 2 or 3 steps, he instantly arrived in front of the crowd. Everyone immediately shut their mouths and looked at the figure with sparkling eyes. "You are all here to be my disciple, right? Master told me to receive you. Follow me." The person looked very young, but he exuded the aura of the primordial gods. His tone was very indifferent, and not much emotion could be heard from his words. After saying that, he turned and went up the mountain. When the crowd saw this, they hurriedly brought their juniors to follow. It was an ordinary mountain path, but they walked for a few hours and still couldn't see the peak. Instead, they arrived in front of a bamboo forest. If you want to join the Yinming Peak, you must first pass through this purple bamboo forest. The person turned to look at the crowd and said faintly. Chapter 4465. This is Heart-Shatter Bamboo, right? A sacred lord said unconfidently and glanced at the primordial god of Yinming Peak. That's right, this bamboo forest is filled with heart-shatter bamboo. If you don't dare to leave, you can leave now. May I know how to address you? Yinming Peak, Wang Qingyan. Senior Wang, heart-shatter bamboo can destroy a person's state of mind at any time. Isn't it too much to use this as a test? Yinming Peak did not force you to enter the mountain. If you're willing, you can stay and walk. If you're unwilling, you can leave now. This is only the first test. There will be more after this. Hurry up. Wang Qingyan said impatiently. Everyone whispered to each other. Brother Huang, may I know where this heart-shatter bamboo came from? You don't know? Approaching this bamboo will disturb one's state of mind and cause them to fall into an illusion. If they can't get out, their state of mind will shatter and they will be crippled. It has such power. State of mind is not dependent on cultivation. If an primordial god walked in, he would also suffer the same fate, unless his heart was as hard as steel. Since we're already here, it's too unfair to leave like this. But if something happens, our disciples will be crippled. With this Yinming Peak's attitude, it's fine if we don't pay our respects. A sacred lord snorted and left with his disciples with a cold expression. Wang Qingyan did not even look at him and urged the others. If you don't want to leave, you can leave now. Let's go. Everyone shook their heads and left one after another. Soon, there were only 30 to 50 people left in front of Wang Qingyan. Patriarch, I'll go take a look. A young man gritted his teeth and walked straight into the purple bamboo forest in front of everyone. Everyone's gaze followed him closely until he disappeared into the purple bamboo forest. About 7 or 8 breaths later, there was a sudden scream. Wang Qingyan snorted and walked into the purple bamboo forest. Soon, he returned in front of everyone with the young man. The young man did not have any external injuries, but his eyes were dull and unfocused. He was still muttering to himself, too terrifying, he's crippled. Wang Qingyan let go, letting the young man fall to the ground. Seeing this, the elders of the young man's clan helped him up with an ashen face and examined him carefully. At the same time, they used all kinds of methods to make him come back to his senses. When the rest of the people saw him in such a state, how would they dare to enter the purple bamboo forest? The patriarch looked at Wang Qingyan hatefully and brought his disciples down the mountain. At this moment, there was only one person left in front of Wang Qingyan, and that was Ningqi. You are a sacred lord. Even if you enter the Yinming Peak, you won't be able to obtain the true inheritance. You can only be an outer sect disciple. Go down the mountain. Wang Qingyan waved his hand lightly and turned to leave. Are outer sect disciples allowed to learn the method to become a god? Ning Qi smiled faintly. Outer sect disciples can't learn the true teachings of Yinming Peak, but if it's just advancing to the primordial god, venerable god, they can indeed learn this knowledge. Wang Qingyan frowned and looked Ning Qi up and down. Not everyone can ascend to the primordial god realm. Without a cultivation technique, it's basically impossible, so it's useless for you to become an outer disciple. I only need the method, not the cultivation method. Ning Qi smiled and slowly walked into the purple bamboo forest. Wang Qingyan's eyes revealed a thoughtful look as he calmly waited outside the purple bamboo forest. Inside the purple bamboo forest, the scene suddenly changed. Ning Qi felt as if he was watching a movie, and he was the main character in it, and all the plots revolved around him. Gradually, Ning Qi's mind went from being a bystander to being confused, as if he was immersed in it, until a golden light flashed between his eyebrows, cutting off this special connection, and Ning Qi once again became an outsider. The Dragon Slayer's saber helped him, allowing him to escape from this illusion in advance. But even if the Dragon Slayer's saber did not show its power, Ning Qi was confident that he could break through the fog and find himself in a short period of time. After a cup of tea's worth of time, Ning Qi walked out of the purple bamboo forest and came to the other side. Wang Qingyan was standing there waiting for him. Wang Qingyan's expression was a little strange. Ning Qi smiled and said, "What's the next test?" "Nothing." Wang Qingyan shook his head slightly. "Didn't you say, that's for the inner sect disciples and true disciples? You're just an outer sect disciple. To you, being able to walk through the purple bamboo forest means that you're already qualified to become an outer sect disciple of the Yinming Peak. Congratulations, you're the only outer sect disciple of the Yinming Peak." Wang Qingyan smiled faintly. "In the entire Yinming Peak, I'm the only outer sect disciple?" Ning Qi's expression was strange. Wang Qingyan nodded slightly. The Yinming Peak doesn't easily accept disciples. Not to mention outer sect disciples, there are only 3 inner sect disciples like me and 1 true disciple. You're the 5th disciple of the Yinming Peak. In terms of cultivation, who can I ask? Ning Qi asked. That was the most important thing. You can come and ask me. I live on that mountain. Every 2 months, I'll come out of seclusion for 3 days. During these 3 days, you can come anytime. When I come out, you'll naturally know. Wang Qingyan pointed at a mountain and then soared into the sky. Where do I live? Pick a random place. Chapter 4466. Pick a random place? How could he be so casual? Ning Qi glanced around and soon found a place with verdant hills and limpid water. He didn't sense anyone else there. 2 months passed in the blink of an eye. During these 2 months, Ning Qi didn't feel like a disciple of the extreme king sect at all. No one came to see him for 2 whole months. Even Yin Ferocious Peak didn't show up for 2 months. It seemed that everyone was in secluded cultivation. Today, as usual, Ning Qi stood at the top of the mountain, enjoying the faint warmth brought by the morning glow. All of a sudden, an aura fluctuation came from the mountain where Wang Qingyan was. Ning Qi's eyes flickered and he flew over. Wang Qingyan walked out of his cave residence and nodded at Ning Qi. "Have a seat." Ning Qi sat down on a stone bench in front of Wang Qingyan's cave residence. "I told you when you joined Yin Ferocious Peak that you're only an outer sect disciple. You can't practice the true incantations of Yin Ferocious Peak." Wang Qingyan sat down across from Ning Qi and said with a plain tone, "I know that, Senior Brother Wang. I'm here today to ask you about the key to becoming an Archean god." Ning Qi said with a faint smile. In the Archean god world, only by becoming an Archean god would one no longer be an ant. Given your cultivation base, you can indeed try to become an Archean god. There are 3 ways to do so. The first is the most common and the safest. You can practice the true incantations of the Extreme King sect and become an Archean god directly. Of course, it also depends on your aptitude and talent. The second way is to accept enlightenment. If a 7th grade Archean god is willing to give you enlightenment at the cost of a grade, you can also become an Archean god. Wang Qinyan said with a plain tone. The first way didn't work. The second way didn't work either. Where would Ning Qi find a 7th grade Archean god who would be willing to give him enlightenment? The third way is to go to the realm of mystic heaven and gather enough source form. It can help you transform your mortal body and become an Archean god. This is the only way you can take now. It just so happens that every peak in the Extreme King sect has a quota to go to the realm of mystic heaven. The Dark Ferocious Peak hasn't used its quota for many years. I can ask the Peak Master for permission. If he agrees, you can have the quota, and I'll teach you how to go to the realm of mystic heaven. Saying so, Wang Qinyan soared into the sky. In the brightly lit hall, Wang Qinyan stood respectfully, clasping his fist to the air in front of him. Disciple Wang Qinyan requests an audience with Master. What is it? A ripple appeared in the air. There's a new outer sect disciple from the Dark Ferocious Peak who wants to go to the realm of mystic heaven. Wang Qinyan said. A few breaths later, the air rippled once more. He's already a sacred lord, so why did he join the Yinming Peak as an outer disciple? Is it just to become an ancient god? Disciple doesn't know. Disciple accepted him according to the rules. Wang Qinyan said. Since that's the case, take this token to him. Along with another fluctuation in the air, a token appeared out of thin air. Wang Qinyan immediately stretched out his hand to take it, bowed, and then turned around and left. Returning to his cave abode, he handed the token to Ning Qi and said, "This is the token to enter the realm of mystic heaven. When you focus your mind on it, you'll be able to enter the realm of mystic heaven. However, you have to remember that there are certain conditions that must be met in order to leave the realm of mystic heaven. You'll know the details after you enter. There are many sacred lords in the realm of mystic heaven, including some who don't belong to the Archean divinity. They only have one goal, and that is to fight for the source substance. It's very likely that you'll die in there. It's up to you whether you want to go or not." "Thank you, Senior Marshal Brother Wang." Ning Qi took the token and let out a sigh of relief. At least he knew how to break through to the ancient god realm. The realm of mystic heaven is divided into several regions, some of which are inhabited by ancient gods. Remember, don't go there, or you'll die without a doubt. Wang Qinyan warned again. All right. Ning Qi nodded slightly. Wang Qinyan took a deep look at Ning Qi, then turned around and returned to his cave abode. Seeing this, Ning Qi returned to his cave abode and focused all of his attention on the token. In the next moment, he vanished. Along with him, the token also disappeared. At the same time, the Lung clan's warship had already arrived on Heavenly Strategy Planet. "Young Master, where are we going now?" "We'll go to the Extreme Emperor sect and ask them to help us find that kid," the Lung clan's third lord said indifferently. "Yes." The warship changed directions and soon arrived in front of the Extreme Emperor sect. The disciples of the Extreme Emperor sect were enraged by the sight of the warships. Just as they were about to curse, they saw the clan emblem on the warships. The Lung clan. Why is the Lung clan here? Everyone exchanged confused glances. A few breaths later, a group of people walked out of the Extreme Emperor sect. The leader of the group gave off an extremely strong god aura. He was a middle-aged man in a green robe. He cupped his hands towards the Lung clan's third lord and said, "Zhou Yu of the Extreme Emperor sect greets the Lung clan." Chapter 4467. Although our Tianxi planet is the strongest in the Mountain Sea region, it's still nothing compared to the Lung family. Why would the Lung family come to Tianxi planet? I don't know. Our Huangji sect and the Ling family don't have much of a relationship. Wait. I've always heard that the Ling family's ancestor was an expert in the Tao of divination and had eliminated anyone who could threaten the Ling family in the future. Could it be? That doesn't make sense. Even the sect master of our Huangji sect is only a rank 7 archaic god. He's nothing compared to the Ling family. How could he be a threat to the Ling family? That's hard to say. Maybe one of us, or a junior brother or sister who just joined the Huangji sect, will become a Six Paths powerhouse in the future? Hiss! The disciples of the Huangji sect showed fear on their faces as beads of cold sweat appeared on their foreheads. Let's see what the sect master has to say first. Zhou Yu brought the elders of the Huangji sect and stood in front of third young masterling. He and the elders had the same thoughts as the disciples. The only difference was that as a rank 7 archaic god, Zhou Yu was more composed. The Ling family's battleship did not look aggressive. Perhaps they were here for something else. We've met a few times before, Sect Master Zhou. Third young masterling smiled. Elder Yu stood next to him and examined Zhou Yu and the others. This is at least a rank 8 archaic god. As expected of the young master of the Ling family, he has such an expert by his side when he goes out. Zhou Yu thought and cupped his fists. Indeed, I've met third young masterling on some occasions. May I know why third young masterling has come to our Huangji sect today? Is there anything I can help you with? The elders and disciples of the Huangji sect pricked up their ears and were nervous. They were afraid that third young masterling would say that someone here would threaten the Ling family in the future. I've come here because I need Sect Master Zhou's help with something. After all, your Huangji sect is the local tyrant on Tianxi planet. Third young masterling smiled and nodded. He then ordered someone to show Zhou Yu and the others Ning Qi's portrait and characteristics. Our Ling family is looking for this person. It's very likely that he has come to Tianxi planet, so I hope Sect Master Zhou can help me keep an eye out. Third young masterling said with a smile. Elder Yu had been paying attention to Zhou Yu's expression. Although he had reached the primordial god realm, and some emotions were hard to see on the surface, but to Elder Yu, a mere rank 7 primordial god realm could not hide his thoughts in front of him. Zhou Yu's expression was normal, but there was a trace of curiosity in his puzzlement. Everyone, have you seen this person before? Zhou Yu asked. The elders of the Huangji sect shook their heads. Are all the elders here? Third young masterling said with a smile when he saw third young masterling shaking his head. Except for a few of you, everyone is here. We have never seen this person before. If we had seen him before, he would have definitely left an impression on us, Zhou Yu said. He couldn't help but take another look at Ning Qi, and he sighed with emotion in his heart. Since third young masterling is able to catch up to him personally, his ability must be extraordinary. How about this? Help me keep an eye on the Tianxi star. If we can find this person, our Lung clan will not forget this favor. Third young masterling smiled faintly. No problem. Zhou Yu nodded. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. As long as the Lung clan's target wasn't the Huangji sect, it wouldn't be a problem at all. Just as the third young masterling and the others were about to leave, an elder suddenly said to himself with a strange expression on his face, "The dark ferocious peak recruited an outer sect disciple some time ago. His portrait was sent to the Hall of Affairs for registration. Why does it look so similar?" The third young masterling and the others came to a stop. Zhou Yu also looked at the elder. "Elder, why don't you confirm it?" the third young masterling said with a smile. The elder hastily nodded. "I'll go to the dark ferocious peak and confirm it." With these words, he sped off into the sky. The dark ferocious peak. "Wang Qingyan, are you sure you're right? He's the new disciple of your dark ferocious peak?" "Yes, it's him. But, what happened?" Wang Qingyan frowned. "Our Huangji sect has won the lottery. You'd better come with me and talk to the Lung clan. The elder smiled bitterly. After a short pause, his eyes lit up. Are you sure he's gone to the realm of mystic heaven? Yes, I gave him the medallion, and he used it right away. Wang Qinyan nodded. The Lung clan? Why is the Lung clan looking for him? It's hard to explain right now. All I can say is that he's not an ordinary guy, and the Lung clan came looking for him. Now that he's gone to the realm of mystic heaven from your dark ferocious peak, there can only be two outcomes. 1. He dies in the realm of mystic heaven, and 2. He returns to the dark ferocious peak. If he returns to the dark ferocious peak, we'll have to hand him over to the Lung clan. That way, our Huangji sect can earn a favor from the Lung clan. Not bad. As soon as the elder finished speaking, he brought Wang Qinyan, who was a little confused, and flew towards the mountain gate. What's going on? Haven't you figured it out yet? This kid might pose a threat to the Lung clan in the future, so the Lung clan came looking for him. A threat to the Lung clan? You mean? He might become a powerful expert of the 6 paths in the future? Wang Qinyan was shocked. Chapter 4468. I'm not sure if he can become an expert of 6 paths. I only know that the Ling family has sent 3rd young Master Ling here with an 8th order archaic god to look for him. Hurry up and get your master out. We'll talk to 3rd young Master Ling together. We can't drag the Huangji sect down. The elder said in a deep voice. Wang Qinyan slightly frowned, then nodded and immediately went to report this matter to his master. Not long after, a middle-aged man in a black robe flew out from his seclusion. He had a skinny figure and a haggard face. It was as if only a layer of skin was draped over his bones. Master! Wang Qinyan hurriedly greeted him. The Yinming Peak Master nodded slightly and looked at the elder. The elder's cultivation was inferior to the Yinming Peak Master as he was only a 4th order archaic god, so he also went forward to greet him. There's no need to be so polite. Is what Qinyan said true? The Yinming Peak Master said in a deep voice. Of course it's true. How would I dare to joke about something like this? The Ling family's battleship is right outside the mountain gate. If we don't give them an explanation, I'm afraid our Huangji sect will be destroyed in an instant. The elder hurriedly said. Let's go. Outside the mountain gate of the Huangji sect. Sect Master Zhou, you had been talking to 3rd young Masterling from time to time, but 3rd young Masterling's attitude was rather cold. Sometimes, 3rd young Masterling would only respond once after Zhou you said 5 or 6 sentences. When he was getting a little impatient and frowning slightly, the Yinming Peak Master and the other 2 happened to arrive outside the mountain gate. The Yinming Peak Master's expression changed slightly when he saw the scene in front of him. It seemed that the elder was telling the truth. His expression gradually became a little strange. He never thought that an outer disciple that he had casually accepted would be the person the Lung family was looking for. Indirectly, that outer disciple's talent was definitely extraordinary and his providence was definitely extremely strong. You're the Yinming Peak Master? Do you recognize this person? 3rd young Masterling waved his hand and condensed Ning Qi's appearance. Yinming Peak Master glanced at Wang Qinyan. Seeing Wang Qinyan nod slightly, he sighed in his heart and nodded. This person is indeed the outer disciple that Yinming Peak just accepted. Where is he now? The 3rd young Masterling said calmly. Elder, you signaled to the Ling clan's god beside him. Battleships rose into the sky and surrounded the extreme Emperor sect from all directions. When the people from the Huangji sect saw this, their hearts couldn't help but beat wildly. He just left for the realm of mystic heaven. Yinming Peak Master said in a low voice. The realm of mystic heaven? The 3rd child squinted his eyes. Elder Yu smiled. 3rd young Master, this is perfect. If he wants to come back, he can only go back to where he came from. We'll wait in the dark forest peak, and at the same time, Send a message to the head of the Lung clan in the first district of the realm of mystic heaven to capture him. Yes. Send the news back and have the family make preparations. Not only the first region but also the second region. He's a holy lord, and we don't know when he'll become a venerable god. Third young Master Lung said indifferently. Don't worry, old man. Elder Yu nodded slightly. Sect Master Zhou Yu, we'll have to trouble you for the time being. I hope Sect Master Zhou Yu won't take offense. The third young master looked at Zhou Yu with a faint smile. Zhou Yu, a 7th grade archaic god, didn't show any temper in front of someone like the third young master. He nodded with a smile and said, I'm more than happy to have the third young master as a guest. How could I take offense? The third young master chuckled and flew towards the dark forest peak. This should be the place, right? The third young master came to the peak where Ning Qi had stayed and looked at Wang Qinyan. Wang Qinyan nodded slightly. Guard this place. Capture him alive if you see him. If he tries to resist, kill him on the spot. Don't hold back. The third young master ordered his subordinates. The group of primordial gods from the Lung clan nodded their heads with a solemn expression. After all, Ning Qi had killed primordial gods before, and even Elder Yu had one of his arms chopped off. They couldn't see through his means. They didn't dare to be careless anymore. Third young master, there's something I don't know if I should ask, Zhou Yu said after a brief hesitation. The third young master smiled. Go ahead. The person that the third young master is looking for, Zhou Yu said slowly. That's not the right thing to ask. The third young master said indifferently. Zhou Yu immediately shut his mouth and cupped his fists with a smile. If that's the case, I won't ask any more. If the third young master has any requests, feel free to tell the peak master of the dark forest peak. I'll be taking my leave. See you out. The third young master nodded. After Zhou Yu left, the peak master of the dark forest peak also found an excuse to leave. Only the people of the Lung clan were left on the peak. Not long after, Elder Yu walked up to the third young master and said in a low voice, Third young master, the news has been spread. I believe that the mystic heaven realm will be ready in 3 days. At that time, the Lung clan will join forces with the experts from the other sects to capture this kid. That's good. The third young master smiled. Chapter 4469. This is the realm of mystic heaven? Ning Qi appeared in an empty place. There was nothing around him. He was not sure if this was the realm of mystic heaven where he could become a venerable god. Logically speaking, Wang Qinyan had no reason to lie to him. After all, he was an outer disciple of the dark frost peak. With this thought in mind, Ning Qi chose a direction at random and flew off. However, he did not fly very far before he felt a special energy lock onto him. His body suddenly moved a foot to the side. A tiny beam of red light pierced through the air from where he was just a moment ago and disappeared into the ground. A small hole about an inch wide was created on the ground, extending for dozens of miles. Ning Qi smiled when he was attacked as soon as he arrived in the realm of mystic heaven. Wang Qinyan was right. The realm of mystic heaven was indeed full of killing. Even those who had no grudges against him would suddenly attack him. After the first attack failed, the other party immediately launched a second attack. However, Ning Qi was prepared this time. He reached out and grabbed at the air, pulling out a figure that was a few feet tall with a cold aura. What is this? A puppet? A mecha? Ning Qi frowned slightly. The other party was still struggling. Seeing this, Ning Qi directly twisted off its head. Then, he saw a terrified face inside. Inside was a young man with acne all over his face. He looked at Ning Qi in fear, his body stiff. Ning Qi narrowed his eyes. The young man's aura was also strange. It seemed to be a cultivator, but it was not. It was very weak, at most at the 6th step, but much weaker than a normal 6th-step cultivator. However, the strength of the mecha just now felt like it was at the 8th step. It was a very strange feeling. It seemed to have a special energy attached to it, like the source substance that Wang Qinyan had mentioned. Who are you? Why did you attack me? Ningqi said with a smile. Since you've captured me, kill me if you want. Why do you have to humiliate me? The young man with acne forced himself to be calm. All right, I'll fulfill your wish. Ningqi nodded slightly. Wait. I can be your prisoner and let the base pay for my ransom. I am a first-class soldier of the Qing Han Empire. I can be ransomed. The young man with acne cried out in fear when he saw that Ningqi was really going to kill him. Star River Empire? Ningqi narrowed his eyes. I'll ask you something. If you answer me well, I'll let you go. As long as I answer your questions, will you let me go? Fine, but don't ask me any confidential questions. I won't be able to answer them even if you do. There's something in my brain that will self-destruct if I answer these questions. The acne youth hurriedly said. Ningqi nodded slightly. What's the Star River Empire? Some power in the Archean divinity world? Ningqi smiled faintly. The pimpled youth looked at Ningqi with a strange expression. The other party didn't even have this bit of common sense? Since you've just entered this place, I'll tell you a little more in one go. If you listen carefully and feel that I'm sincere and honest, you can let me go. How about that? The acne youth said. Sure, you can try. Ningqi smiled faintly. The Star River Empire is a large camp in the first district of the realm of Mystic Heaven. Our Star River Empire has 7 subordinate camps. Like the Void God Camp and the Immortal Tao Camp, there are a total of 24 camps in the first district of the realm of Mystic Heaven. But the Star River Empire, the Immortal Tao Camp, and the Void God Camp are the main camp. Oh right, the Star River Empire is called the Foreign Force Camp. The young man talked non-stop in order to survive. About 10 minutes later, Ningqi understood the camps in the realm of Mystic Heaven. At the same time, he was shocked. The Archean divinity world could only be regarded as a martial arts camp. There were countless forces under the martial arts camp, led by the Archean divinity world. Not to mention that there were 23 similar camps. Ningqi was born in the Archean divinity world, which was also a martial arts camp. You can go now. Ningqi smiled faintly. You're really letting me go? The acne youth was shocked. He didn't expect Ningqi to keep his word. If you don't want to go, you can stay. But you can't take this mecha with you. Ningqi smiled faintly. Can I use it to send a message and wait here for someone to pick me up? The acne youth said in a low voice. Go ahead. Ningqi nodded faintly. The acne youth immediately sent a message to the base and left the mecha. He watched as the mecha was destroyed by Ningqi with his own eyes. This scene made him subconsciously shrink his head. How did these barbarians become so powerful by relying on cultivation? They could even destroy a Type 3 Saint mecha with a single punch. After destroying the mecha, Ningqi felt a special power gushing out from one of the damaged parts of the mecha and fusing into his body. His cultivation was indeed on the rise. Ningqi now understood why the chance of advancing to the primordial god realm was higher in the realm of Mystic Heaven. Chapter 4470. This is indeed his first time in the Mystic Heaven realm. The acne-faced young man thought to himself as he stared at Ningqi. After absorbing the source substance, Ningqi glanced at the acne-faced young man and smiled. I'm from the martial Tao faction. Which direction should I go? The acne-faced young man was stunned for a moment before he quickly pointed in a direction. The holy city of your martial Tao faction is over there. You'll find the faction if you go there. Okay. Ningqi nodded with a smile and flew in the direction the acne-faced young man had pointed. The acne-faced young man had already sent out the signal. After waiting for a long time, several Type 3 sacred mechas finally arrived. Hong Tao, why are you still alive when your Type 3 sacred mechas have been destroyed? Did you come into close contact with the natives? Do you have the source of the infection on you? I hope you don't hide anything, otherwise we'll have to shoot you. A voice came from a Saint Grade Type 3 mech. The voice was cold and emotionless, as though it was official business. Hearing this, Hong Tao quickly said, "Don't shoot me. I didn't come into close contact with the native. I just met a rookie who just arrived in the mystic heaven realm, so he didn't kill me. He just asked me for directions, so I pointed him to the Void God faction and killed him with a borrowed knife. You have to take responsibility for what you said. If you're found to have the source of the infection, you'll have to go to the military court." "I'll go. Take me back," Hong Tao said. Ning Chi flew in the direction that Hong Tao pointed and finally saw the outline of a huge city. But before he could get close, he saw a group of martial artists that looked like crows flying through the air. Their target seemed to be Ning Chi. "It's the sacred leader of the martial Dao faction. He's alone. Kill him. Don't capture him alive. The city lord is going to the Void God clan to celebrate Gain's birthday. The sacred leader of the martial Dao faction is a good gift." Alright. From their appearance, they seemed to be from the Black Crow clan of the Void God faction. Ning Chi stood where he was and did not move. He quietly sized up this group of martial arts experts who had the aura of a holy lord. The Void God camp, the Immortal Dao camp, and the Foreign Object camp were the most powerful camps in the realm of mystic heaven. All the other camps were led by them. The Ink Crow race was also considered one of the camp. It was a vassal of the Foe God camp. Within the Ink Crow race there were various races and factions. Hong Tao didn't explain too much to Ning Chi. All in all, the realm of mystic heaven was a chaotic place. The other party didn't hide their conversation from Ning Chi. It was obvious that they believed that Ning Chi and the others had him in their grasp, so they deliberately used words to threaten and tease him. A few breaths later, Ning Chi was surrounded by a group of sacred lords. There were a total of 8 people, and their auras had reached the Holy Lord realm. Compared to the primordial gods, they were far inferior. Ning Chi had participated in the battle of the primordial gods and had even slain one. Therefore, the appearance of these 8 sacred lords of the Ink Crow clan was like 8 ants crawling beside his feet, curiously sizing up a giant like him. "Sacred lord of the martial Dao faction, why aren't you running?" The leading sacred lord of the Ink Crow race smiled faintly. "I heard others say that this is the direction of the martial Dao faction. I didn't expect it to be the direction of the Foe God faction. Looks like I've been played." Ning Chi smiled faintly. "Ha ha, then you must have been stabbed by your own people. You don't run now that you've seen us. Do you think that you won't be able to escape?" The leading sacred lord of the Ink Crow race laughed strangely. "You're not playing with me. The reason I came to the realm of mystic heaven is for the origin substance. It's not bad that I was able to directly enter the Foe God faction. One of my goals is to obtain the origin substance and advance to the primordial God faction as soon as possible. I'm afraid I won't be staying here for long." Ning Chi smiled. "You make it sound easy. There are 8 of us here. Whose origin substance do you plan to take?" The leading sacred lord of the Ink Crow race said faintly. The smile on his face also faded a bit. The other party's tone was filled with disdain, which made him very unhappy. "I'll take the 7 of them first. You can lead the way." Ning Chi smiled faintly. In the next moment, he waved his hand. The 7 sacred lords of the Ink Crow race were directly crushed into powder by a powerful force. Boundless origin substance flowed into Ning Chi's body. Ning Chi felt that his cultivation had increased again. Ning Chi's eyes lit up slightly. This was much easier than he had imagined. It seemed like he only needed to kill a few dozen more sacred lords, and he would be able to advance to the primordial God faction. The leading sacred lord of the Ink Crow race stared at Ning Chi with his mouth agape. One move. Just one move. His colleague was killed just like that? Was the other party really a sacred lord? Who the hell are you? The remaining sacred lord of the Ink Crow race had a look of fear on his face. If the other party attacked him, he didn't have the confidence to use a second move. Why do you care who I am? Take me to your city lord. I heard that your city lord is planning to attend the birthday celebration. There will be many sacred lords of the faux god faction present, right? Ningqi smiled faintly. It seemed like he would be able to advance to the primordial god faction soon. Chapter 4471. 800. The strongest dragon slaying system was updated as soon as possible. On the way, the Ink Crow race sacred lord was silent. He quickly brought Ningqi to the giant city's city lord's mansion. The city lord's methods are not simple. We also have more than 20 sacred lords here. If we work together, you will not be our match. I advise you to leave on your own. The Ink Crow race sacred lord slowly spoke, his tone filled with a hint of threat. Ningqi smiled and scanned the inside. He could already feel a few strong auras. They were all sacred lords. One of them was the strongest, but in Ningqi's eyes, it was as weak as an ant. Call your city lord out. Ningqi smiled. Call the other sacred lords over as well. The other was startled. Then, he nodded with a strange expression. His lips moved a few times, and soon, the auras of a group of sacred lords rose in all directions. A group of figures walked out from the city lord's mansion. The three at the front were all sacred lords, and the one at the front had already reached the peak sacred lord realm. He should be the city lord. Seeing this, Ningqi lightly snapped his fingers. The power of God's grace swept out. The Ink Crow race sacred lord that was leading the way gradually became dumbfounded. He personally saw the bodies of the city lord and the other sacred lords rapidly decay. They didn't even have time to react before they turned to dust. The origin substance in his body suddenly surged out, pouring into Ningqi's body like giant pythons. Ningqi's aura continued to rise. After the time it took to drink a cup of tea, the aura in his body finally calmed down. At this moment, the Ink Crow race sacred lord had already escaped far away. Ningqi smiled and stretched out his hand to grab it, pulling it back from afar. Who are you? You can't be a sacred lord. Sacred lords don't have such methods. The other party cried out in fear. Who I am has nothing to do with you. Where is the place where your city lord is going? Bring me there, I feel like I can ascend soon. Ningqi smiled lightly. If I lead the way, can you let me leave alive? The other party hesitated for a few breaths before saying in a low voice. If there are enough saint lords in that place, I can let you go if you're one more. Ningqi smiled lightly. Okay, I will lead the way. Sangtu City. This was one of the famous giant cities of the faux god camp because the one overseeing this place was the faux god race's Gaines. His clan was a famous clan among the void god race. They were the main force that invaded the realms. Gaines sat quietly in the hall that was filled with guests. Every time someone brought a congratulatory gift or said something to curry favor with him, he would reveal a faint smile. Those that could attend his birthday banquet today were all Holy Lord level powerhouses of the faux god camp. There were more than 300 of them. Some of them were originally members of the void god race, while others were subordinates of the void god race like the Ink Crow race or the Clayman race. After an unknown period of time, Gaines suddenly raised his hand. The voices of the crowd gradually disappeared, and everyone looked at Gaines. I've received a piece of accurate news. I heard that the Grim Reaper has encountered some trouble. The supreme expert of our Void God tribe has already led the others to besiege him. We will know the result today. Gaines said calmly. Hiss! Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. The supreme expert of the Void God race brought people to attack the Grim Reaper? Wouldn't that be a battle between primordial beginning powerhouses? If news of the Grim Reaper's death comes, There will be an endless stream of holy lords entering the realm of mystic heaven from the void god world. They will conquer the first realm, then the second realm, and then the third realm. Gaines smiled and said, "That's why I said that today is my birthday, and also the most crucial moment for the Void God tribe. No matter where you come from, you must follow my Void God tribe and obtain the ultimate glory to conquer this world." Everyone fell into deep thought, and then their expressions became more and more excited. This, the immortal world, a Void God race. Holy Lord hesitated for a moment before speaking. "The immortal world is nothing to worry about. As long as the Grim Reaper is dead, everything will proceed smoothly. Allow me to propose a toast to all of you as an early celebration." Gaines laughed loudly. "Bring the wine." A Void God race great saint grabbed two human women and walked in front of the crowd. His fingernails lightly slid across their throats, and blood instantly flowed into the wine cups that had been prepared beforehand. 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups, human women were continuously captured and their blood was extracted to make wine. There was also some bejeweled nectar added into the blood, causing the smell to be extremely intoxicating. "Everyone, let's drink." Gaines raised his cup with a smile. The experts of the faux god race and the various races under the faux god race all raised their wine cup. As for the corpses of the human women, not a single one of them spared them a second glance. Gaines drank the first cup of blood wine and was about to say something when he suddenly saw a figure walking in from outside. "If you're late, then scram," Gaines said indifferently. "How can we be late today?" "Haha, who's so ignorant? Scram." Everyone sneered. However, that figure didn't seem to hear them and continued to walk forward. Gaines frowned slightly. He slowly rose to his feet and said word by word, "Scram." Chapter 44-72. Ning Chi smiled. He glanced at the human women who had just died, then at the blood wine in their cups. The smile on his face grew even wider. "Why don't all of you stay here today? How dare you?" Gaines walked toward Ning Chi coldly. The others also stood up and surrounded Ning Chi, a hint of mockery in their eyes. In the next instant, Ning Chi reached out and grabbed. Gaines instantly exploded on the spot, turning into a mist of blood. Everyone who had just revealed a mocking expression was stunned. Boundless source substance entered Ning Chi's body. The smile in Ning Chi's eyes grew even wider. This group of people should be enough for him to ascend to the primordial god realm, right? Gaines is dead. Everyone, let's attack together. If we don't kill them today, we won't be able to escape punishment even if we survive. Someone yelled. However, there were also people who chose to flee immediately. Even Gaines had been killed in a single move. If they continued to stay here, the chances of them dying were very high. They did not want to die like that. "I already said that none of you will leave today." Ning Chi reached out and grabbed at the fleeing sacred lords. Bang bang bang! The sacred lords exploded in midair one after another, turning into a mist of blood. It was as beautiful as fireworks. An hour later, Ning Chi walked out of the banquet area and slowly rose into the air. He could feel that his power was undergoing a qualitative change. In the next instant, he disappeared. When he opened his eyes again, he was surrounded by people. "Another ascender. Which faction are you from?" Someone asked Ning Chi. This person's cultivation level was similar to Ning Chi's. They were both first-stage primordial god realm, and from the fluctuations of his aura, he seemed to have just ascended. Apart from him, the dozens of people nearby all had similar auras. Ning Chi did not answer the person's question. He only walked out. "You must be from the Immortal Tao faction. My family told me that people from the Immortal Tao faction will almost always appear in Giant Tree City after ascending to the second district of the Mystic Heaven realm. Look at that ancient tree. I heard that a long time ago it was also an Immortal Tao faction expert, but it was killed here." The person who asked the question did not leave because of Ning Chi's indifference. Instead, he moved even closer. Ningqi frowned and glanced at him. His eyes were wide. His face was round. She disguised herself as a man. Miss, didn't anyone tell you that your disguise will be seen through at a glance? Ningqi smiled faintly. Geez. Zhou Yudao chuckled. I don't plan on hiding it. I just like wearing men's clothes. Can't I? Sure. Ningqi nodded slightly and asked, now that we're in District 2 of the realm of mystic heaven, we're going to look for people from the faux god camp and the foreign object camp for source substances, right? Not bad. Zhou Yudao nodded. I've just arrived, and so have you. For the sake of safety, let's team up, shall we? There are so many people here, but you didn't look for them. Why me? Ningqi frowned. Because you look familiar. Zhou Yudao glanced at the people around him and said to Ningqi with a serious expression. A familiar face? Ningqi smiled and waved his hand. I still have something to do, so I won't be going with you. Go find someone else. With these words, Ningqi turned around and left. Seeing this, Zhou Yudao hurriedly followed after him. Hey, wait a minute. I just think you look familiar. That's all. Don't walk so fast. Where are you going? Are you leaving the city? Aren't you going to reorganize in Giant Tree City? Outside the city. Zhou Yudao followed Ningqi out of the city. Ningqi stopped and looked Zhou Yudao up and down. Then he said, Tell me the truth. What do you want from me? Why are you following me? I just think you look familiar. Fine. Zhou Yudao saw a hint of mockery in Ningqi's eyes and immediately changed the subject. She chuckled and said, I can tell at a glance that you're no ordinary person. I'm sure you'll achieve great things in the realm of mystic heaven. You can tell fortunes? Ningqi's eyes flickered. Yes. Zhou Yudao nodded. Then why don't you tell me how long it will take for me to break through to the 9th grade? Ningqi said with a smile. Zhou Yudao was taken aback. 9th grade ancient god realm? That was the strongest existence in the 2nd district of the realm of mystic heaven. Normally, there were only 5,200 overlords in the realm of mystic heaven. Even the most powerful overlord in the realm of mystic heaven was only at the 8th grade. Haha, you really know how to talk. 9th grade ancient god realm? Do you know what level that is? You're only at the 1st grade. How dare you have such thoughts? A mocking voice came from nearby. A few young men and women stood over there, their auras one level higher than Ningqi and Zhou Yudao's. There's a saying that a soldier who doesn't want to be a general isn't a good soldier. Ningqi looked at the man and smiled. Haven't you heard of it? A soldier should mind his own business. What's the use of daydreaming all day long? The man chuckled. If you want to become a 9th grade ancient god realm venerate, I'll introduce you to a place where there are many void god realm experts. There's fighting everywhere. As long as you have the guts to go there, it won't be a problem for you to break through to the 3rd grade in a short time. Where is the place you're talking about? Ningqi asked with a faint smile. I won't give you directions. We're going there too. You two can come with us, the man said with a faint smile, a strange light flashing across his eyes. Chapter 44-73. This direction, could it be 3-World Mountain? Aren't we courting death? Big brother Ning, let's not go, that place is very chaotic. Zhou Yudao gradually felt that something was wrong and secretly transmitted his voice to Ningqi. What kind of place is 3-World Mountain? Ningqi transmitted his voice. The few people leading the way were all rank 2 primordial gods. Although they seemed stronger than Ningqi and Zhou Yudao, Ningqi was confident that he could kill them. They did not seem to have a pure motive for bringing the two of them to 3-World Mountain. Ningqi knew this, but he still wanted to see. After all, his motive was not pure either. Big brother Ning, did no one tell you about 3-World Mountain before you came? It's the intersection of the 3 realms, and there are many experts from the faux god camp and the alien camp there. It's very chaotic, and once we get there, we might not be able to control ourselves. Occasionally, there will be rank 8 experts fighting there, and the shock waves will be enough to kill us. Zhou Yudao transmitted his voice. The more chaotic the place, the greater the chance. Since you know the Tao of divination, why don't you calculate our fate this time? Ning Qi smiled faintly. I've calculated it. Zhou Yudao lowered his head and pinched his fingers. The 4 young men and women seemed to have sensed something and turned to look at Zhou Yudao. Then, one of them transmitted his voice to the leading young man. Brother Lung, why did you bring these 2 newbies? With their strength, they won't be of any use in 3-World Mountain. Why won't they be of any use? Doesn't the place we're going need essence blood to open the door? Although they are not rank 2, as long as they have enough essence blood, they can open the door. This will save us a lot of effort. Otherwise, if we use too much essence blood, our strength will drop. Oh, I see. The eyes of the others lit up, and they finally understood why Lung Xiaolong wanted to bring Ning Qi and Zhou Yudao, who were obviously newbies. But, Brother Lung, you should ask them about their background. If they have some background, won't it be troublesome? If they have a background, they would have been guided long ago. Can't you guys see that? I calculated it, but why don't I believe it? Zhou Yudao had a strange expression. What's the result? Ning Qi smiled faintly. Bright red and purple qi from the east. Zhou Yudao transmitted his voice with a strange expression. Seems like a good sign. Ning Qi smiled. Took them more than 10 days to get there. Around a dozen days later, the 6 of them had already set foot in the 3-World Mountains. Along the way, Ning Qi saw many metallic remains on the ground. These are all immortal-grade mechas from the foreign faction. I wonder how those ants managed to pilot such powerful mechas with the bodies of ants. Lung Xiaolong lamented. I once saw a level 5 immortal-grade mech destroyed, and the person inside was captured alive. His strength was at most level 1. However, with a mech, he can fight against a Type 5 powerhouse. The other person nodded slightly. This is one of the strengths of the foreign faction. They have a unique way of using origin substances. If we can learn this method, we can also build these mechas. Lung Xiaolong said. Zhou Yudao interrupted. The 3 factions have been fighting for so many years, but they haven't learned the foreign faction's methods. I'm afraid that their methods have special limitations. Even if we learn them, we won't be able to use them. Nothing is absolute. Lung Xiaolong snorted. Zhou Yudao didn't want to argue with him, so he smiled and didn't say anything else. Soon, the 2 of them followed Lung Xiaolong and the others to an enormous gorge. Quite a few primeval gods from the immortal Tao faction could be seen here, and their cultivation bases were similar to theirs. Some were first, some were second, and some were third. Do you know where this canyon came from? Lung Xiaolong smiled and looked at Ning Qi and Zhou Yudao. The 2 shook their heads. Many years ago, a ruthless person appeared in the mystic heaven realm. He single-handedly defeated the experts of the 2nd district of the mystic heaven realm. At that time, the Void God faction, the foreign faction, and the immortal faction even teamed up, but they were still no match for that expert. That powerhouse had risen to power here, and this canyon was formed from the corpse of a Type 9 powerhouse that he had killed. That powerhouse came from the Tenyang Palace of the immortal world. He was already in day transformation. He came here to deal with that ruthless person, but he died here. His body contains an endless amount of refined fire energy, which can be refined into origin substances. That's why we're here. However, this place is controlled by a faction. If you want to enter, you'll need blood essence in addition to a ticket. I brought you here because you don't know much about the mystic heaven realm. If you're lucky, it won't be long before you reach level 2. Lung Xiaolong smiled. Tenyang Palace? Day transformation? Ning Qi glanced at Lung Xiaolong and said with a smile, You said you need blood essence. What do you mean? Chapter 4474. Do you know about the Blood Ghost sect? This was a sect from the Immortal Tao faction. It had just risen up a few years ago, and there were experts from the Six Paths suppressing it. This canyon is controlled by the Blood Ghost sect. They have a way to increase their cultivation, and that is the blood of cultivators. Ling Xiaolong chuckled. This gorge is controlled by the Blood Ghost sect. If you want to absorb origin substance here, you must first give them some blood essence. That is the rule, and we have no other choice. You want us to contribute our blood essence? What about you guys? Zhou Yudao frowned. If it weren't for us, you wouldn't have been able to reach this place, nor would you have known of its existence. Take this as a reward for us. Ling Xiaolong smiled. What will happen if I don't give you this reward? Ning Qi said lightly. The three-world mountain is very chaotic. It doesn't mean that people of the same faction won't kill each other. Here, no one will care even if I kill you. Ling Xiaolong smiled. His threat was obvious. Zhou Yudao subconsciously hid behind Ning Qi, feeling anxious and doubtful. Was he really going to give blood essence? How much should he give? If Ling Xiaolong had specially brought them here in hopes of using their blood essence to buy a ticket to enter the canyon, then the amount of blood essence would definitely not be too little. In other words, if I kill you, no one will care? Ning Qi smiled. You? You've just ascended, what right do you have to kill? The corners of Ling Xiaolong's mouth lifted slightly. However, before he could finish, his eyes were filled with shock as a bloody hole appeared between his eyebrows. Not only him, but the others also felt the same way. A moment later, a wave of origin substance surged into Ning Qi's body. Looks like it really isn't that difficult to advance in this world. Ning Qi's eyes lit up as he sensed his cultivation level rising. Big brother Ning, I really didn't calculate wrongly. You've really made it big this time. Zhou Yudao's eyes lit up. The people around them saw this scene, but they only took a glance before entering the canyon. Just as Ling Xiaolong had said, no one would care about a fight that had nothing to do with them. Let's go. Let's see how many benefits this place can bring us. Ning Qi smiled faintly. He stretched out his hand and made a grabbing motion. The blood essence of Ling Xiaolong and the others immediately burst out of their bodies and condensed into a ball of blood in his palm. After paying the entrance fee, Ning Qi and Zhou Yudao smoothly reached the depths of the valley. Many people were sitting cross-legged inside, cultivating their cultivation technique. Endless amounts of origin substance flowed into their bodies from all directions. To them, there was no need to fight here, so there was no danger to their lives. They could also obtain more origin substances, which was why they were willing to pay a small price to enter this place. The fire essence left behind by a Tier 9 powerhouse was already more than enough source substance for ordinary cultivators. If a first to third stage primordial god were to cultivate here, they might not be able to exhaust the essence qi in this place even after thousands of years. Let's sit here. Zhou Yudao found an area with relatively few people, cleaned the ground with his sleeves, and said to Ning Qi with a smile. Ning Qi nodded with a smile and sat down cross-legged. He wanted to try and see if this method of absorbing origin substance was faster than killing people. If it wasn't, he would definitely choose the latter. Very quickly, Ning Qi entered a meditative state. The fire essence from all directions began to furiously gather in Ning Qi's direction, even forming a vortex above Ning Qi's head. It surged madly into Ning Qi's body. Zhou Yudao had originally planned on cultivating, but she hadn't absorbed any origin substance at all, so she couldn't help but open her eyes to take a look. She was stunned by what she saw. What was going on? Zhou Yudao stared at Ning Qi, dumbfounded. Above Ning Qi's head, there seemed to be a pillar of condensed essence qi, which was continuously flowing into Ning Qi's body. The other cultivators in the depths of the valley stood up one by one and looked in Ning Qi's direction. Their eyes were filled with shock, anger, and confusion. What's going on? What kind of cultivation technique is this kid cultivating? How is he absorbing all the fire essence chi? Damn it, if he cultivates like this, what are we supposed to cultivate? We spent the entrance fee. And I spent quite a bit of blood essence. We can't let him cultivate like this. Someone go stop him? Let's go together. The surrounding cultivators communicated with each other, then slowly walked towards Ning Chi with a tacit understanding. There was a hint of fear in their eyes. To be able to produce such a cultivation phenomenon, they were certain that Ning Chi's cultivation technique was not ordinary. But with so many people on their side, there was no need to be too afraid. Everyone, this is a misunderstanding, Zhou Yudao hurriedly said. Misunderstanding? He's monopolizing all the resources here, and you call that a misunderstanding? Hurry up and wake him up. We want an explanation, someone said in a low voice. Let me try. Zhou Yudao looked at Ning Chi with a strange expression. Big brother Ning, tell them to scram. Ning Chi didn't open his eyes as he spoke indifferently. The atmosphere suddenly froze. Chapter 4475. Wulin Chinese Network. Update the latest chapter as soon as possible. How arrogant! After a brief silence, someone flew into a rage. Those who could come to this canyon to absorb source substance had similar cultivation bases. What right did he have to be so arrogant? Telling them to scram? Who did he think he was? Zhou Yudao was also dumbfounded. Ning Chi had offended everyone with just one sentence. Kid, who are you? Tell us your name. You dare to tell us to scram? Do you know that we can kill you with just a spit from each of us? A primordial venerable god shouted. This person's cultivation base was also extraordinary, reaching rank 3. Such a powerhouse would quickly leave the novice stage and go out to fight in order to obtain greater strength. Ning Chi did not say a word. He pointed casually, and the rank 3 primordial god died on the spot. Boundless source substance gathered at the source substance pillar above Ning Chi's head and poured into his body. Ning Chi's aura continued to rise. Too terrifying! Everyone's hairs stood on end when they saw this scene, and they gasped inwardly. If we don't leave, we'll die, Ning Chi said indifferently. Go! A rank 3 primordial god turned and left without saying a word. The other party did not even waste words and killed a rank 3 primordial god on the spot. With such strength, it was very likely that he had advanced to rank 4. They were naturally not a match for him, and if they stayed, they would probably end up like the rank 3 expert before them. In an instant, countless primordial gods left the place. Zhou Yudao was dumbfounded. At the same time, the faction in control of this canyon also sensed something strange. A few figures stood in the void and looked in Ning Chi's direction with frowns. What do you think? This kid's aura has already reached rank 4. If he continues to absorb like this, the power left behind by the rank 9 expert in the Tenyang Palace will be completely exhausted. A rank 5 primordial god said solemnly. The other primordial gods were also rank 5, and only the leader was rank 6. Rank 7 experts were all big shots and patriarch-level figures. They would not guard such a small place. His cultivation method is not simple. This kid should have the protection of Samsara expert. The rank 6 primordial god said solemnly. Samsara expert? They looked at each other in dismay. Boss, should we chase him away? If he does that, we'll lose business. A rank 5 primordial god asked tentatively. There's no need to chase him away. Let's form a good relationship. The rank 6 archaic god pondered for a moment and said. No one said a word. They watched as Ning Chi continued to absorb the origin substance in this place into his body. Very soon, the aura on Ning Chi's body had already reached the level of Tier 5. Days passed by. Roughly a month later, Ning Chi's aura had reached the Tier 6 level, and there wasn't much origin substance left in the canyon. What had happened in the past month had aroused the curiosity of all parties. Some people had specially come to this place to watch, secretly wondering where Ning-Chi had come from. "Why aren't you cultivating?" Ning-Chi suddenly opened his eyes and looked at Zhou Yu Island. Zhou Yu Dao was taken aback for a moment before a bitter smile appeared on his face. "Big brother Ning, all the origin substance here has been absorbed by you. How am I supposed to cultivate?" Ning-Chi nodded slightly, then smiled. "Then let's go. I'll take you to kill some people and obtain some origin substance." With that, he grabbed Zhou Yu Island and soared into the sky, instantly disappearing from the canyon. This was Three-World Mountain, so it was not difficult to find people from the Foe Gods and the Foreign Object factions. The people in the canyon had wanted to greet Ning-Chi, but Ning-Chi had left so quickly that they did not even have the chance to greet him. They all had strange expressions as they looked at each other. Kill. Zhou Yu Island's eyes were covered in a layer of bloody mist. She did not expect to be so lucky that Ning-Chi would lead her to continuously kill experts from the Foe Gods and Foreign Object factions. She could not remember how much origin substance she had absorbed. His cultivation base advanced from the primordial god, venerable god level to level up again and again with irresistible force. And Ning-Chi's aura had long since surpassed Tier 6. In just a short month of killing, Three-World Mountain knew that a killing god had arrived from the immortal Dao faction. Even a Tier 8 powerhouse had been killed by this killing god before. "Brother Ning, I'm already at Tier 7. The sect has sent a message asking about your background." Zhou Yu Dao and Ning-Chi stood in front of the corpses of the experts from the Foe God camp. Zhou Yu Dao took out a jade talisman with a strange expression and glanced at it before saying to Ning-Chi, "You're at Tier 7, I'm at Tier 9. Looks like we'll have to part ways for now. As for my background, you can tell me if you want. It doesn't matter." Ning-Chi smiled. At the same time, Archaic Divinity World, Huangji Sect, Yimeng Peak. Third Young Master Ling and Elder Yu were still guarding Ning-Chi. From time to time, they would receive reports from their subordinate. "There's no trace of this kid in the first region. Third Young Master, could he have gone to the second region?" Elder Yu frowned. In the news, someone mentioned that an immortal Dao expert suddenly appeared in the second region, killing along the way. "He seems to have reached Tier 9. Elder Yu, do you think it's him?" Third Young Masterling said with a serious expression. Neither he nor Elder Yu noticed that a figure was slowly forming behind them. Chapter 4476. Impossible. Elder Yu shook his head. How could he become an archaic god in such a short period of time? There has never been such an example since ancient times. It's not like it hasn't happened before. Didn't that person advance so quickly back then? Third Prince Ling had a strange expression. The two did not notice that there was a figure standing behind them, looking at them with a faint smile. That person is an anomaly. He's not within the laws of this world. He has transcended the laws. It's impossible for such an anomaly to appear again. I heard that even that person can't hold on much longer in the celestial demon battlefield. Elder Yu shook his head. Who is that person you're talking about? Ning-Chi smiled. The two froze and turned to look at Ning-Chi. You're finally here. Third Prince Ling sneered and walked in front of Ning-Chi. But Ning-Chi casually slapped him and he fell to the ground, instantly losing his ability to fight. When Elder Yu saw this, he was shocked and immediately rushed towards Ning-Chi. But another slap and Elder Yu fell to the ground. A terrifying power wreaked havoc in his body, and he instantly lost his ability to fight. Two crisp sounds rang out, alerting the people outside. The archaic gods under Third Prince Ling's command charged in, but they all lost their ability to fight in a few breaths' time. Sect leader Zhou Yu, Yimeng Peak leader, Wang Qingyan, and the rest all arrived and were dumbfounded by the scene in front of them. Third Prince Ling and the rest fell to the ground. Among them stood a figure. It was the person that third Prince Lung had been looking for not long after joining the extreme Emperor sect. However, this person was emanating a terrifying aura that struck fear into the hearts of everyone present. Rank 9. Rank 9 Archaic God. How did his cultivation increase so quickly? Wang Qingyan was shocked. Zhou Yu and the rest did not dare to act rashly. Third Prince Lung and Elder Yu were the most shocked. Third Prince Lung's guess might be true. The person that had reached rank 9 in the second region was the person they were looking for. How could this be? Third Prince Lung was dazed. Lung family had divined that there would be such a calamity for them, but they did not expect it to come so quickly. They didn't even have the time to suppress the other party, and the other party had already grown to a level that the Lung clan couldn't match. Only an expert from the Six Paths could suppress a rank 9 Archean god, revered god. But now, all of the Six Paths had been taken to the Devil God battlefield. Or rather, it was a slaughterhouse for gods and demons. Those who were slaughtered were gods and demons in the eyes of mortals. The Six Paths no longer existed in the primordial divinity. Who is the person you're talking about? Ning Qi looked at third young Masterling and smiled. It's Grim Reaper, third young Masterling stammered. Grim Reaper? The one who fought against the Void God race? Ning Qi frowned slightly. In terms of strength, he might have already reached the same level as that person. No, not that one. That one is the 8th generation Death God. The one I'm talking about is the 1st generation Death God, the 1st generation Death God, the Master of Fate who controls the River of Time. Third young Masterling said hurriedly. The Master of Fate who controlled the River of Time? Ning Qi was silent for a moment. Hearing this name, the other party's strength was definitely not simple. The next moment, he suddenly turned around and looked behind him. A figure appeared behind him. Third young Master Lung and Elder Yu almost suffocated when they saw this person. Howling Moon Lord? How was this possible? Wasn't that the Howling Moon Wolf God who had been in the slaughterhouse for countless years? Senior? Ning Qi's eyes flashed with doubt. He actually couldn't see through the other party's strength, but the other party was clearly the Howling Moon Wolf God who had brought him to the primordial divinity. His strength shouldn't be so high. The Lord was right. You do have the potential to become the Son of Fate. No wonder he specifically asked the past me to bring you to the primordial divinity. Xiao Yu looked at Ning Qi with a faint smile. The past you? Ning Qi was stunned. I wasn't free back then. Otherwise, I would have come to look for you personally. You don't have to be surprised. The Lord can control everything in the River of Time. The past me, the present me, and the future me will all be the Lord's subordinates. Xiao Yu smiled faintly. Such a method. How terrifying was it? Ning Qi was a little shocked. Even in the past, with his powerful cultivation, he could only use divine grace to temporarily control time. However, he couldn't be like the Lord that this person mentioned, who could directly bring people out of the River of Time. You have worries in your heart, but with your current cultivation, you won't be able to resolve the obsession in your heart. I'm going to bring you into the Godfiend battlefield. You might die there, or you might become the person that the Lord hopes for. Are you willing to follow me? Xiao Yu smiled faintly. Ning Qi went silent for a few breaths before nodding slowly. I'll go. He paused for a moment before looking at third young Masterling and the rest. They have been chasing after me. I plan to annihilate their entire clan. Can you give me some time? No need. They will all be dead tomorrow. Xiao Yu smiled faintly. He grabbed Ning Qi and instantly disappeared. We will all be dead tomorrow? Third young Master Lung and Elder Yu looked at each other. Elder Yu subconsciously wanted to use his divination technique, but just as he was about to use it, he saw a lightning tribulation descend from the sky, turning him into a wisp of green smoke. Zhou Yu and the rest were shocked. At that moment, Ning Qi opened his eyes and saw a blood-red sky. Countless gigantic bodies floated in the void. The aura on these bodies was tens of thousands of times stronger than his. However, they were still beheaded and turned into corpses. Looking around, there were endless corpses. This is the God-fiend battlefield. Xiao Yu stood beside Ning Qi and his lips curled up. This battle concerns all living beings in the world. Are you ready? I am ready. Ning Qi's expression was solemn. A bright light flashed in his deep eyes. Next, he would have an extremely difficult path to walk. However, no matter how bumpy this path was, he would charge to the end with irresistible force. End of the book. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.